guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna show you step by step on how to renovate your rental kitchen in a low budget. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to look for inspiration for the kitchen renovation, how to choose your removable material, how to measure the amount of material and the tools that you need, a step-by-step installing guidance, as well as some common mistake and the tip and trick for the whole project. So if you really don't like your rental kitchen design, you're in the right place. Check it out. Hi new friend, this is Erica right here. I'm a tiny citizen currently living in America. Cooking and traveling are my passion, so I'm here to share with you my favorite Asian recipes. I make kitchen trivia short and Asian home cooking recipe on this channel, so if that interests you, please subscribe and keep watching. Before we start, I want to let you know that because there's a lot to cover in this project, so I'm gonna cut this video into two parts. So here's a little timestamp for both videos. Today we'll be talking about the prep work for this renovation, and next week we'll be focusing on the actual installing. So with that being said, let's get straight into today's content, shall we? To renovate your rental kitchen, the first thing you need to do is figure out your style, color, and patterns that you want. Unless that you're super artsy, I wouldn't go with the flow on this one. If you already know what you like, you can totally skip this part. But if not, I'll recommend you to go look for inspiration on Pinterest, Instagram, or even just Google image. You can search for the keywords such as renovated kitchen or the style of the kitchen, for example, the bohemian style kitchen, or by the color, you can say pink kitchen, black kitchen. And if you have no idea of a material, you can also search for, let's say, all wood cabinet kitchen and etc. With some basic inspiration, you can figure out what the color pattern and the style that you want for your kitchen before you start anything. I always know that I want an all-white kitchen, but just to be sure, I also went online and looked for other type of kitchen colors. Seeking for what will work for your kitchen long-term is also a very important part. For example, if you have kids or very messy roommates, you probably don't want an all-white kitchen because it's gonna be really hard to maintain over time. I found an all-black cabinet kitchen with a white backsplash and marble counter. That looks so pretty to me, and I almost choose that to renovate my kitchen. Right before I ordered all my material, I just realized, oh, my kitchen does not have a lot of lighting like those kitchens. So if I make my kitchen black, it might be really dark. So after all that hustle, I still went back to my original design, but with all this research, it makes me feel more comfortable to go with this style that I want originally. After you have all your ideas lined up, we have to look at what part of the kitchen that needs to be redone. There are four main things that people would like for a change on their kitchen, which are cabinets, backsplash, countertop, and doorknobs. To match my budget of under $300, I choose to change my cabinet and the backsplash only. That's because these are the things that I hate the most about this kitchen, and my countertop match perfectly fine with my new cabinet and backsplash. Also, my cabinet looks just fine without a doorknob, so I also skip that part. In the future, if we decide to stay in this property for longer, I might want to change my countertop into a light wood pattern, but we'll see about that. Now you have decided what part of the kitchen that you want to renovate. Let's take a look at the material choices for each changes. Number one is the cabinets. To change your cabinet styles in a rental property, the easiest way is to cover it up with wallpapers. If your cabinet have a more complicated design originally, I'll also recommend you to get some cardboard to cover up those engraving areas. Because the wallpaper is not very stretchable. Even though those engraving are beautiful on my original cabinet, the only option I have to keep those engraving and change the color into white is to spray paint, which you can't really do in rentals. So finding a large cardboard that can cover up all this engraving area will make your life so much easier when installing. I got this temporary floor protection board roll from Home Depot. This gigantic roll only costs $38, and I can save the rest for the future project. This is the cheapest option that I found that is thick enough to cover up all the engrave and also create this little pop-off border to make your cabinet look more 3D. But if you know a better option, please leave a comment down below to share with those in need, because this roll is so heavy to bring home, I won't be able to do it without my husband, and it will left you with a lot of extras. Now when it comes to the wallpaper, here are the few keywords you need while searching, which are removable, waterproof, oil-proof if needed depending on your cooking style, and peel and stick for easy installing. When it comes to the color, the pattern, and the shininess of the wallpaper, it's purely your choice. But here is some personal advice I want to give you in case you have no idea what to search for. I found that the wood pattern wallpaper goes well with the cabinet since they are supposed to be made out of wood, so it looks natural. Solid color will also look good, but besides black and white, I find that the unsaturated color is easier to pull through. Also, I like the matte finish for my cabinet because I like my countertop to be shiny, so if the cabinet is also shiny, it might be a little overwhelming. Next is the doorknob. Well, you probably already have the style and type of doorknob that you're gonna get, but here are some extra tips for you. Think about if the original doorknob on the cabinet will work with your new design, because if that does, you can save at least $30 in total. Second, which is the most important part, is to see if the new doorknob you pick will fit in the original hole. The most common cabinet knobs require either one hole or two. And since we're renovating a rental property, you eventually have to remove all these things and return it back to the landlord with the original design. So if you get a doorknob that requires drilling, you'll definitely damage the cabinet. So keep that in mind. For the keyword to search for a doorknob, just simply search for cabinet doorknobs with perhaps a style, color, or material with it. You'll have a lot of options. And if you choose to change the doorknob or even not use a doorknob at all like me, remember to put all the original doorknob in the zipper bag and store them away so you can put them back right before you move. There are two main types of backsplash that you can find on Amazon. One is the same material as the cabinet, the wallpaper that is oil-proof and waterproof. Or the other one, which I like more, is the removable backsplash tiles. The reason why I like the tile is because they are 3D. So it does not only feels good, it also looks more real in a closer distance. So I only recommend the wallpaper if you're choosing one single color. The other pros about the wallpaper is that they are cheaper than the tiles and also easier to apply. The keywords for backsplash are removable, waterproof and oil-proof, heat resistant if needed, and the material you want, such as tile, wallpaper, or aluminum. I put the countertop material choice last is because this is the most complicated one in my opinion. Because in the kitchen, countertop is the place that's most likely to come in contact with the heat directly. You don't want to find a material that will melt as soon as you put down a pot by accident. So here are the few guidelines. For the keyword, you want to search for waterproof, oil-proof, and heat-resistant material. In my experience, I realized that Amazon sellers don't really like to put heat-proof or heat-resistant in their title, perhaps for the legal reason. But you can always look into the material listed down below and search for the max temperature that it can hold on Google. The best material I know is the one that makes with vinyl, aka the PVC material. It is the most durable option, but it's not 100% heat-proof. So this is another reason that I choose to keep my original countertop. But if you really don't like your countertop and you choose to redo it, just keep the max temperature in mind and don't put boiling hot things on the counter. The safest way to do this is to buy in the smallest quantity and test it out at home. Put the hottest thing that you'll ever put it on your countertop directly straight onto the paper for at least 10 seconds and see if it holds up. Any mild damage, I will not use them at all. Because we have all experienced that time that our brain is foggy in the morning or when you're drunk, you're gonna accidentally put something hot on it, and if you destroyed a little bit of the counter, you'll have to redo this whole thing all over again. It really doesn't worth it. Now, when it comes to measuring the amount of paper or tiles that you need for the renovation, you can be pretty accurate with the backsplash and the countertop. That's because these areas are relatively a flatter surface. All you need to do is measure the length of the whole area and maybe double the amount for the extra height. After measuring my backsplash area, I ordered 2 boxes of tile altogether and thought that's gonna be enough. But after installing all of them, I realized I'm actually 1 tile short. Or to be exact, it's actually a 1/4 tile short. That does kind of suck, but all I can do is just order another box. So don't be too harsh on yourself if you make a mistake, because at the end of the day, you can just order more or return the extra. Now, when it comes to the cabinets, it will be a little bit more complicated. Because the cabinets come with the walls, the doors, and the sides and all that, there's a lot of individual pieces that you have to cover it up. To connect the wallpaper side by side perfectly, it's a pain, so you want to avoid that as much as possible. What I did is measuring out all the big spaces, which includes all cabinet walls as well as the side of the cabinet. My cabinet doors have a total of 11 different sizes, so listing them all out on a piece of paper, it will help you a lot. With that all been listed out, it's easier for you to measure out the exact amount you'll need to cover all these big spaces. If there are different choices of width for the wallpaper that you're purchasing, look for the one that can cover up the biggest cabinet you have in one piece. I only have 1 tiny cabinet that I used 3 different sheets to connect them into one, but that was because I'm trying to save money by using the leftover piece for that tiny cabinet. But all the other doors and the big side spaces on the cabinet is all one and done. The rest of the gaps between the doors does not take too much material, so I will use the leftover to cover up those spaces if I can. And if there's not enough pieces at the end, you can always order more. So again, don't beat yourself on this. For the cardboards that you use to cover up the engraving, you might think, oh, I can just cover up the engraving with the wallpaper. Why bother? Well, that might work for a while. The reason why you want something to cover it up is because as long as if there's any pressure or a sharp object touching the engraving area, the wallpaper will break immediately. So if that's a risk that you're willing to take, by all means, but just keep this possibility in mind before you start. I don't think you're looking for a makeover right after the makeover, right? Well, in today's content, perhaps the measuring part is the most overwhelming for you. But just think about how this renovation might take you for around a week or 2 to finish, and most shipping on Amazon will arrive within 3 days. So don't worry if that you make a mistake on the measuring, because at the end of the day, you can always order more or return the rest. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe on this channel if you're looking for the installing part for next week. To be continued. Thank you for watching to the end. Let me know if this information is useful for you by giving this video a thumbs up. It's only gonna take you a second, but it means a lot to me. I make video on YouTube every Monday and Thursday, so remember to hit that bell and you'll never miss out. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe on our channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week. Bye!